Hello. So I wasn't expecting to be doing this, but it makes my life easier to do it live on camera. I was planning to do the therapeutic brainstorming today, but and I was just about to start. But I don't know why, because I don't think anybody's actually going to watch this, but it makes it easier. It makes it easier to voice it aloud and know somebody is listening, or at least the potential that somebody may listen. And if it's on YouTube, it's got all of eternity really to have someone listen to it. So I don't need it right now. But yeah, no, otherwise I could just see myself. I would have been there, and I would have been either trying to think in my head and I wouldn't be able, or I'd be talking to myself aloud and my voice would get dry. But if I'm sharing one with somebody else, even if it's 4 years in the future, it adds an element there, and at least my voice won't get dry, my brain won't dry up. That's what I'm thinking. So that's why I'm doing it this way. Essentially, I mentioned it on the video earlier. I plan to sorry. What you're going to have to bear with me. So, well, first of all, this is a back fixer. So I've got a bad spine. I think I've got scoliosis as a result of sciatica. And yeah, I'll leave it up to you to put me in the box of hypochondriac or hypochondriac and some truth. But yeah, no, it just helps my posture. I can feel it, and that's why I'm using it. What was I going to say? So the rundown is with my life, with my mental health, as things get challenging and sort of close me in, and my experience of life becomes intolerable, I stop. I stop. Everything stops. It's like whatever I was trying to do, whatever I was hoping for, I have to put it to one side and say, right, my mental health is stronger, faster, fitter, smarter than I am. There's no point me hoping for anything in terms of overcoming my mental health if it really wants to make a point. Life has taught me the best thing to do is to sit down, take a chill pill, take stock, reorganise where your mental health wants you to reorganise to, and go again. That's life, and it's proven practical, getting me out of some real sticky times, and it's what I normally apply when times get sticky. Now, that's ordinarily. However, this time, sticky isn't the right word. Sticky was like last year, January. That's when things were sticky, and it's just been like a constant downhill, falling down progression since then to new depths of this experience that we share. What I normally have to do as I said, is just see everything in my life and just let it go. Apply non-attachment to everything. Know my limitations. Know what I hope for, what I need, which is fundamental. That's the basis. What do I need as Andreas Dimitri with my personal 35 years of experience of life as a human being with my mental health disorder, the limitations that puts on me as a human being? What do I need? And I let everything as much as possible go. And I try to focus on making my life as joyful and as blissful, which isn't possible, but that's where my focus is all the time. I don't want to be sad. But what I'm getting at is when I make these changes, as much as I might be thinking about happiness and bliss and joy and peace, love and chilling by a fire somewhere with friends or family in an ideal world, I know that's not possible. And I know what's more likely to come of it. It's just something that's a little bit more grounded than the madness of where I currently find myself. But I set my mind to love, bliss, happiness, peace, always. I always aim for that. I just don't expect it. Now, as I said, it's been unprecedented this time. It's been since over a year. This current beating down has been taking place, and it's been the time since it's really been the time since I was admitted to hospital that things have been incomprehensible for myself. I don't understand the relationship between me as a human being, other human beings, the society we share and the world we're in. It's like me, literally, this is where I am. I'm in a horror movie at present, due to confusion and ignorance to life. And I'm totally blown out. I'm totally not here. So I'm presenting the context of where I am so we can work through this together. You can see what sort of processes I go through, my thinking pattern, and I'm just expressing it as I go along. It's all helping me to get grounded again after being, well, I might as well have been in space for the past however long, but okay, so sorry, my mind goes blank. So I've been totally blown out to where I have. I'll change this for us. So you can get a better view of my face. Is that better? So yeah, that's what's been going on. And in truth, I don't know how I'm really going to put anything into place this time. This reorganization of my life, the letting go process. In any real meaningful way. Like all the times I've done it in the past, most of the times I've done it in the past, there's been a good chance of things developing, things progressing. But I know within my circumstance at present, I don't hold much hope for that. So what I hope of today is putting an action plan together for an incomprehensible situation and scenario that may make it easier for me to ride the waves as things still get harder. Whereas other times it's like, right, things are hard, let's take action and make them better. Today it's more a case of things are hard, I can't see any change, I don't believe I'm doing anything wrong in my life at all. The likelihood is that I'm going to have to restructure my mind to put me in a place to just accept the worst and put myself in the best trajectory for the worst to happen. So I think we're all up to speed and we can get on with the actual restructuring. So at present, my biggest concern is staying free from medication. The medication that's administered for mental health disorders is very brutal, and for my personal situation, it's very clear it makes my mental health worse. On the whole, it can be used, I'm aware, but if I was to be put on it solidly for 2 years, no freedom, I have nothing to do but accept it, don't I? And I'm going to take the best from it, whatever happens. Now, it might do some good for my mental health, and I'm sure with my mental health being so severe, anything of that solidity for that amount of time, even if it's the worst thing in the world, would have some positivity on this other bad thing in my life. I'm not going to expand on that, but I know that's true. But ultimately, this thing, from my first-person experience, is that unless I'm willing to do detriment to my body, and to be honest, my brain, and in turn my mind, and in turn an experience of life for a prolonged period of time, that's only with the possibility of taking good from it. Otherwise, there's no point. Otherwise, anything less is just a detriment and just pointless. Other than partaking. It's no use to me. But obviously I go to hospital because I'm ill and I'm disturbing my neighbours. For that reason, just a break, a reshuffle, it serves a purpose, even if it's for my neighbours. So I am guilty of this too as a human being. To know that I'm being punished. Oh, I've got that annoying person living next to me that makes all that noise, regardless if it's intentional or unintentional, because he's ill, because he's sane or bored. He makes noise and he makes my life a living hell. And for that reason, I feel better that he's being. Now I know my neighbours aren't able to raise their. Sorry, camera's on. 1 second. Trying to restart, switching my morning breakfast from whatever to something a bit greener. But yeah, my neighbours, they're understanding. I can absolutely see that, but they're not absolutely understanding. And for that reason, what I just said still applies. Unless you're absolutely understanding that this person is this way, and no matter what we do, they're not going to change. They're not able to change. You're left with some elements of anger towards me and frustration towards me. And yeah, anyway. So I wish to avoid hospital. It's not nice to have your freedom taken away, all the luxuries that we have on this outside taken away, and being somewhere where you're essentially a child, no better than a child. You're treated like a child. You don't get to cook, which is probably the hardest thing, if I'm absolutely honest. I'm not able to cook. I'm not able to maintain my own diet. I either have to get a takeaway, which isn't bad that I have that freedom there, but it's all unhealthy, or at least the reason I get a takeaway is to maintain my diet. And within maintaining my diet, it's not as healthy as I can maintain it at home cooking, because the stuff they serve is all, it's like lovely warming homemade food made by machines and sealed up and batch cooked. I have no idea if it's heated up in microwaves at all or not, but the nutritional value and content is next to none. Sorry, I'm just going to wet the blender on for 2 seconds. And my personal understanding of my limitations as a human being to my body, that food can't sustain me. It can sustain me to carry on, but I'll be dying. It can't sustain. And then on top of that, I have a mental health disorder that requires a certain level of chemistry to be, well, in check, and that food doesn't do it. So I avoid the food, but obviously there are times like, I don't know what it is, teas, coffees that you have to ask for. But ultimately, you know, the hospital I've got no complaints about. I can't complain about that in this world. That there's ways I get a lot from it, but it's the so. That's my biggest fear in life, because I have a mental health disorder, and with my mental health disorder, the way I view hospital is that it's just a delay to me getting to grips with my mental health. For instance, I view it like a 2-year process. If I go to hospital for 3 months, there and thereabouts is about to get back to the same place, just 2 years older, and experience the unpleasantness of this medication within that time. That's how I view it. And really, unless magic happens for reasons I can't really foresee, even if I was to go for 2 years and let that medication work, beyond it being a death within me on some level, I'd probably take it a 10-year process to get back to the same place on a mental level. To continue. Now, I don't see I need a break from my mental to make it better. I'm managing my mental health. I'm on top of my mental health. What I don't understand is society at the moment. What I don't understand is my physical health, but I've got physical health problems. It's society to my physical health problems. My mental health, it gave me a little saying, and it's true. What it said, it's quite egoic, but I've got reality problems, man. That's my problem. Yeah, I've got a mental health problem, but that's in check. I've got physical health problems. They're in check. Now I've got reality problems, society problems, people problems. And they're doing me in. I can't manage the other two with this now. So that's what I've got. I've got a reality health problem. I've got mental health, but to be fair, in all of its disorder, I've applied as much order. We all die, so my physical health has to get on top of me at some stage, doesn't it? Like, that can't be really the problem. It's just a natural course of nature that we all go through. But no, I've definitely got a reality health problem. So I wish to avoid medication. That is my life mission now. I don't care about anything else in this world other than to avoid that medication. It's just, I don't understand. And to avoid the medication, I've got to stop the shouting. And I can't really do that. In all honesty, about 2-year admission to hospital had shut me up, and thereafter I'd be like lost within this world, but eventually it would come back. I know that within myself. I don't need to prove that to anybody. So it's not really dealing with the problem, it's giving me a holiday I haven't asked for from what they view as a problem. So what happened is, when I was discharged from hospital, that's fine. Come back and get on with life, yeah? And that was fine. I could have done that. But as soon as I got discharged, for whatever reason, the council said, right, we're going to start seeking legal proceedings to get you evicted. And I've not been able to deal with that stress since. I purchased the boat to live on the boat. From my understanding of my abilities before hospital, I should have had the ability to get that boat to a reasonable standard. But I think what's happened is with my experience of that admission in the hospital and the way I was treated and my reality health problems, I've crumbled further. And I can't pick myself up to do what I can or I should be able to do. And that's my main problem. At present, that's where I find myself, and I'm unable to continue. What I have to do is maintain a very as peaceful state of mind and life as possible, very healing to the body, so I don't get stressed in my body that aggravates my mind. And my body's got health problems, so any further stress. And then I can function, then I can exert myself, then I can be proactive, then I can be positive, then I can look to achieve or whatever is wanted of me as an idiot living within this society. Because I don't want a shit thing living here. What do you want of the sickness? Other than peace, trying to get a bit of peace or to end the sickness. I just want to but it's been, what is it, January, February, March. It's been at least 4 months since I was told we're gonna start the legal proceedings. So I don't know what the council are doing. I don't know if this is a normal process. I don't know if there's been a further development. And the call to the council is part of this process now of the list. So we'll put that on the list. Call the council, find out about the eviction process. In honesty, with my reality health problems from the way I was treated by human beings in hospital, and then further putting pressure on me, because it was like, I don't believe you've got a mental health problem, and I'm going to test your mental health problem, and I'm willing to make it worse and your life a living hell just to see if you'll shut up. That's the sort of attitude scenario that's been presented here by the council. So when I call, I don't expect much change. It'll be a case of, we were sent a letter, or no, we're going to begin, or another outburst by you and we'll send a letter. In all cases it's happening. I can't imagine he's turned around and he's going to say, we found out you've got a mental health disorder, and I can't imagine that's the case, but a call is in order either way to really clarify that, but I don't hold any hope there because of the way I've been treated as an innocent human being in the first instance by supposedly other caring humans. So I'm going to start over this side now, make some healthy carbohydrate-free bread. gluten-free bread. So where I am now is that's on the list, and I've got the boat. I've got the boat there, and there's a solid bit of work to get it to where it needs to be. But I don't know what I have to do to really reassess my life at present, to put my mind back in that place where I can actually get on with it. And that's what I'm hoping to find out today. Otherwise, it's going to be a case of stop the boat and sit here and wait until I'm evicted or something. I don't know what to do. But that's what I'm going to find out. So the options are, let's start looking at some options. I call the council, and what just to fill you in, the way I normally operate is look at the likely scenario, honest likely scenario to everything, be honest with yourself, and then plan for the worst within that. So there's no surprises, and there's always a possibility you could be pleasantly surprised, which is going to give you a boost to life. So with the council, I don't hold any hope of a change. I'm being honest with myself. Being honest with myself, I'm totally lost within the world. You know, I just realised to stop just saying what I was going to say, because I'm totally lost within this world with the way I'm being treated by people, the way I was treated by hospital, with the way I've been treated by the NHS. It's almost like it's personal by people I don't know, time after time. So I think this is where I've got to look at first, before all the practical stuff. So what do I do about that? So I've got my care coordinator from the community mental health team. But on the times I've spoken with her, and there's always an element of terms that I don't really understand, but I accept. And this time, the tone is figure out your problems for yourself. So I have somebody there I can contact, but that's the general attitude. I plan to sue, or normal stance against the way I was treated in hospital. I'm unable to do that at present, and that would help resolve some of the way I'm being treated by people. What can I do? I'm alone in the world. The world is all of a sudden very confusing and very malicious. I've got stresses. And all of this really makes me believe I'm in a coma. I think that's what I've got to do. Because I've just spent 35 minutes telling you some of the context of my life. And I don't think I'm going to find a solution that will better what I've just thought. And what I've just thought is I need to start living like I'm in a coma. Start believing, first, up front and foremost, at the front of my mind, that I'm in a coma. I know all my life points to me being in a coma. That's what I've assessed. I don't know how many times, but I've given it honest, sincere thought, coherent thinking, and I believe I'm in a coma above everything in my life. I've not been living it first and foremost. Right, so if I'm in a coma, God knows how many accidents I've had in my life. Banged my head against the wall, or broken my coccyx, or hit my head unintentionally and intentionally when I was self-harming. For there to be countless, endless times in my life where I could have died or entered some sort of coma, and then it's almost like my life just continues there on out from there. So I don't really know the time. I have ideas of when it could likely be. I'm guessing I'm looking at before my 20s really. So if I'm in a coma, I just accept none of this all makes sense. There's never really going to be a storyline to it. I'm never going to have answers. People can treat me any which way, and that's justified within my coma. But the likelihood is, with my coma, whenever I wake up, and I say coma, it could be near-death experience, or something along those lines, the likelihood is I'm going to be in pain. Hopefully I'm in some hospital bed, on some sort of painkiller, where I wake up and it's like, people surrounding me and I'm like, oh, how you doing? Yeah, what a sleep. It's going to be more like I wake up in that bed and it's like my body's going to be in agony from whatever I've done that's put me in that place. I'm going to be daisy and woozy, or I'm going to wake up in an ambulance or mid-surgery, or come back and I've got blood spilling from me someplace and I'm in the midst of an accident or something like that. That's what my gut instinct tells me. It really points to the reason as to why I've been in. Forget the possibility that I've somehow done it to myself. In terms of, I got some acupuncture needles stuck under my skin about 2 years ago. It might be longer now, 2.5 years ago, and it sort of coincides with that. But the pain I'm experiencing physically is linked to that somehow. I don't know 100%, but if I'm in a coma, I would have almost half instigated it on on an unconscious level to get myself out of the coma. I need to be real with the pain. So in terms of my coma, the pain makes sense. In terms of going to the NHS countless of times, expressing this problem, that problem, and another problem with my physical health, pain, and not getting the logical treatment that you expect from a national health service that you don't have to pay for. Oh, I've got this problem, I've got that problem, I've got the other problem. And you get help. It's not complicated. If they want to teach you something about you being they want to teach you about being a I'm just going to take 30 seconds because I don't like how my mind's just stopping. I feel like if I get the words, it will do me some good, so I'm going to ask 30 seconds of your time. Hypochondriac. So if they want to teach you about being a hypochondriac, send you on a merry-go-round, you know? Take you seriously because you've got a serious point. Send you on a merry-go-round, prove to you that this is the problem, explain to you, be honest with you, be open with you why we're not going to do what we're going to do. That's not been happening. It's almost been like, no, nothing wrong, go home. No, nothing wrong, go home. No, nothing wrong, go home. I know I've got a mental health disorder and I've got to be honest with myself as to whether I'm kidding myself. I don't question myself at all. On that regard. But I know I've been turned down. So it could be that I'm in a coma and people need me to be in pain to get out of the coma. So sod it. Let's restructure my life now, live, for me to start living that I've got a coma. Right, ultimately, I don't know if it's now or in... I'm going to be coming out of this coma. That's the hope. And when I do, I'm going to be in pain. Sorry, I'm a bit slow. I'm just trying to pace myself. So because I have to. So right, I'm in a coma. Pain's justified. The pain's justified, it makes sense. There's a reason for it. It explains my treatment from the NHS and people. Okay, let's ignore that then. Let's forget sorry, I'm in a lot of discomfort. So let's forget that part. That part gets crossed off the problem list. It makes sense now. The other part was my treatment when I was in hospital, and to a certain extent, that also makes sense. It's like, we're just not going to do anything for your pain. So I'll have to cross that off the list to a certain extent, but I'm in a coma. That was the past year and a half, has literally been life, other people telling me, no, not telling me, but making it clear to me now, in this moment, you're in a coma. The pain you have is going to be needed for you to come out of that coma. I'm really sorry. And I can write off hospital under that pretext too, and that's what's troubling me the most. I think this is how I go forward, because writing off hospital, I said those words and it was like all of a sudden this massive weight had been lifted from my life, and I could feel again, you know. I mean, I'll have to sue because I could be in this coma for 100 years, and I still have to function within this world first, this reality first. The people misbehave to me within this reality, and I'll have to sue. But until this reality wants to acknowledge that I'm in a coma, my coma is my own personal thing, and I acknowledge that. That's what I'm going to have to do. It just writes off the traumatic experience. It opens up life now to literally being an LSD-like experience where I'm walking the streets and it's like people could behave in which way to me, because that's what's happened. That's the happening. That's what I have to. The sciatica is really bad. I told the GP. Sorry, I really have to just be patient with the pain. See, I put the Bax fixer around my waist, and it's just correcting me, and I just have to pause. I can't do a thing. So you're welcome to come back in a couple of minutes. So the pain I can't do anything about. I need to put that on my checklist of to do things in terms of getting my whole mindset attuned and my whole life attuned, and this is what I've got to develop as I just live life. I can't think anymore in that aspect right now, but so I'm very sorry. I might have to end the video. So right off the madness at this hospital, 2020, 2021, it opens up my life to being like an LSD-like trip from now on, whereby what once made sense in terms of interaction with humanity, society, people, is totally out the window. But, you know, my life is a bit like that anyway with my mental health. Not really been interacting. And it would just help me take a step back from people. What I mean is I'm isolated and I always seek to interact. I've been told, advised. Right, I'm going to have to go and sit down at least. In fact, I'm going to have to lie down, in which case we'll see how effective the light is in here. Just going to put the iPad down for 1 second. As you can see how long it's taken me, this is a normal occurrence with sitting, lying, standing. I just have to be patient. I appreciate, look, that nobody's really going to be watching this, but I persist. Oh, just happened. Oh, there we go. 1 second. Now we see. Resolution isn't as good with the low light, but doesn't matter. So we're saying, admitting I'm in a coma as an explanation as to why I've been treated the way I've been treated. It gives me life again. I feel like, I'll need to assess it, but the initial feeling is like, oh shit, I'm going to be evicted. That ain't that big a deal. I can live again. I can deal with it practically. I was traumatised by the way I was treated at hospital. Absolutely traumatised. It's given me nightmares. So, putting that into the coma box, I'm like, non-personal, fine. Because I'm in a coma, fine. I'll still have to sue, fine. It sorts out all of my problems. Let's look at it. Can I? So right now, in addition, as a result of that traumatization, my mental health has got really bad. So what I'll need to likely do take maybe a week. If I don't get evicted before that, I shouldn't, given that I've been here for a few months since I was told about the court proceedings. But yeah, take a week. Just really let myself know that I can breathe again on some level. And breathe to my everyday if I can get enough of a groove with how bad my mental health has been. It's just well, I think this is another element. My mental health basically has imagine your mental health problems in your head, yeah? Sometimes people hear stuff, sometimes people see stuff. I don't hear things. It's like I hear voices within my head, but I don't hear it with my ears. I don't really see visions or anything like that. But what's been happening is with my physical body, it's been literally been like a horror movie where it's not functioning correctly. I know my physical body from the training my uncle gave me with Qigong. I know my physical body, I know my structure, I have an idea, a very basic idea of how it should work. I know that, for instance, the joints from the kidneys, hips, all the way down into the thighs. I know the movement. And it's where it starts from in that element. Of course, it should be whole body. It should probably come from the mind. I haven't got that far, but I've got a basic understanding of how certain parts of my body work, and they've all been twisting out of shape. They've been really, it's almost like they've been fighting me. It's like, we know you think it works like this, and we're going to specifically antagonize you to see it a different way. So literally my body is changing shape. This is something actually I wanted to share, slightly off topic, but I've been on the internet. I think they must have and the ads have been coming up as bodybuilders. So I've been seeing lots of bodybuilders and images of bodybuilders. And from the knowledge I have, and I could be wrong, it's nothing I've been taught, it's first-hand experiential knowledge of my body, of how it works. When I see bodybuilders, I've been in a lot of pain. Because what it is, it's like there's a way that the body should work, and there's a way that, and they look two different things. You can see the shape of the legs, for instance, and into the hips, and this is where I'm going to focus on, and the arms. But it's almost like, if you imagine a bodybuilder, and it's helping to go off topic, it's helping me to just speak about something a bit different. And it should help me finish this video kind of quick. Where you see a bodybuilder, imagine qigong and energy, and we all have an energy field, yeah? But bodybuilders don't know energy first. They go to the body first. So when they go to the body first, they're like, right, this is what I've got, let's put muscle on. But they don't realise energetically their body's misconstrued. It's out of kilter first. So when they start putting it on their arms, it goes to their biceps. But why on earth, from my personal understanding, would there be muscle mass at your biceps? And this is what I did as a teenager. I went to the gym and I just started building muscles on my arms. I wasn't really bothered because that's what everyone looks at within bodybuilding. If you're not really serious about it, oh, he's got big biceps. He must be muscly underneath, even if you're if you don't do anything else. But like with the biceps, and like with my understanding from the training my uncle gave me, and my further understanding of energy through what I've lived through, I know the logic to have a big bulge at that part of the arm and at that part of the leg and the thigh, as it is in the thigh at least, is incorrect. It's almost like, and this is what it really looks like, if you see people under energy, and I could be wrong, but this is what my current thinking is, that it's like people have got inflatable dinghies that are filled with some sort of concrete and stuck to those parts of the body. On an energetic level, that's what bodybuilders are. That because they put mass and effort into those places, it throws their whole body out. My understanding is it's movement should be more like for the arms should be more like the Chinese martial artists, where the punch comes from the kidney. That's my basic understanding. There's more elements that come into that, like it's the full body, it's the posture, it's from your heel, it's your spine, but in basic, if you compartmentalize it, it's from the kidney. So imagine moving your arm forward. You're not doing that from your shoulder, you're not doing that from your bicep, you're not doing that from your chest. That all comes from the kidney. So what you have is a very weak arm, if you imagine. The arm has next to no strength in terms of muscle. And what should, in my head, happen first is we get to grips with this motion, the weakness of motion in the arms. So that weakness should be trained first. And then very slowly that can be increased with weight. And my theory is, I haven't quite pictured how the arm would look, but it would almost be like the body would change. You know where a bodybuilder is like a V. The shoulders are very broad, and it goes in and the waist and then out. It would be like the arm would almost get sucked in to the chest. At the moment, it's like the arm goes on top of the shoulder, yeah? But it would be almost like the arm doesn't do anything in terms of muscle from outside of the chest. The shoulder would, I can't, and neck. Again, with the hips, it would come from the kidneys. It comes from the midsection, the belly button area. That's where the movement in the legs comes from, the flaring of the muscle in the legs. So when you see muscles in the legs, any muscles, it shouldn't really stop. This is my theory. At the waist, like it does for most bodybuilders, it stops at the pubic bone area. It would actually come round. So if that's the knee, it would, and that's around the pubic bone waist area, and that's what most bodybuilders' muscles look like. It would actually come round to the midsection, the hip. Going back on track. We said I've crossed off hospital and I can breathe again, because I'm accepting I'm in a coma first. I'm going to start living like it. I live life for myself. I'm going to sue in some way or take legal action in some way. Now my physical health is giving me a distress and a half, because I've got my mental health. I've got physical health problems that aren't being addressed because I'm in a coma. And because they're not being addressed, I have to deal with them. And I have a mental health disorder and all the other challenges in my life, in terms of taking into account the time and energy I'm going to have to give to this. So I've got a physical health problem. And it's been challenging me. And what often happens is, when I get physical health problems, my mental health will overlap, and it will want to claim responsibility for my physical health problem. So it might start skewing my vision and my thinking to what I'm experiencing, and trying to get me to think of it taking charge. But on reflection, I have to compartmentalize them and see them clearly and know where I'm at for myself. But ultimately, where I'm at right now is that it's got really bad. And because I've been so beaten and down, my mental health is really bad. So I've got my physical health problem that my mental health is making even worse. And I've got to get that in check. So I'm in a coma. What are the options? I could, because well, do you know what I've just seen? It's like it takes all the personalisation away, what I've just stated. For instance, I've had this very unpleasant thing for a little while now. and it's embarrassing to state, but it's like somebody has got my prostate and he's pulling it and letting it go and fling back, and every time, just like now, just like in the kitchen, it gives me a jolt, an unpleasant jolt. To it and made it really unpleasant, and ultimately, if I'm taking anything personal, the unpleasantness of that experience just needs to be assessed and dealt with ASAP, because I'm in a coma. I've got no place to start thinking about anything. You know, I've got to be 100% at work, on the ball, all the time. And to be fair, I am, or have been. But now I'm in a coma, the personalisation all has to be removed. It's like I'm going to go into psychopath mode, because this is what's happening right now. I'm going into psychopath mode. I don't give a care about anybody anymore. I mean, I will, and I'll have to, because I respect where I am. But first and foremost, I don't. I have to literally put it to that level. So yeah, well, what's just been brought up is that my autism is going to come into play. My autism is going to be highlighted, because that often governs my interaction with people and life. But now, when I have a problem and I'm autistic, and that often creates a problem for me, I have a solution to it. Because I believe I say I'm autistic, but I believe I'm more on the autistic spectrum. The reason being is because I train, I learn, I grow. And I know I've broken down my autism quite a bit, but I know it's still there very strongly. So now when I'm presented with a problem that my autism wants to take charge of, well, my whole life has just changed. The laws that governed my life up until now no longer apply. So for that reason, my autism has to be reassessed. Because my autism, I believe it's some sort of natural subsense that gives you a means to operate in this world as a result of your past. But if my past is now all a lie, because I'm in a coma, then my autism has to take some time to just feel life again, to this new understanding, before I can rest. Because it is a form of resting. It's a form of practicality in my eyes. And before I can do that again, I need to chisel it away, chip it away, to being in a coma, refine it, make it practical again. Do you know what? I think I'm going to leave it here. I might leave it here. Let's just have a look. I can breathe from hospital, from the treatment I had in hospital. Oh no. Right, so my physical health is bad. My mental health has jumped on top of it. Can I use this new lightness from the weight being lifted off my chest in terms of getting to grips on some level with what I'm experiencing from my physical and mental health, to get me going again, to get me at the boat again, to get life moving again. Is what I think I'm going to have to think about for the rest of the day. And if anybody's been here with me for an hour and 15 minutes whilst I've been so slow, thank you. Thank you. I don't know what else to say. You don't exist, you're in my head. But I could be here for the next 100 years with you. And that's a lot longer than any amount of time I've lived in my own actual life. So I respect you at the same time. Because even if you're in my head, and if I have to spend any amount of time with anybody, I have to be sincere and live as if they're real. So simplistically, thank you. So I've got to sort out, how do I take this lightness, apply it to my physical, mental health, this new non-personalization of everything. And what I'm also going to do, because I have to do this, and that is I am accepting that I am in a coma as my mandatory course of thinking in life. I'm pissed off if this world is real and I'm here having to think I'm in a coma to get by, to right errors of wrongs that have been done against me and have essentially killed me. There's no life in me to the world I've lived for the past 35 years. I'm done. There's no future. There's no hope. And if somehow I've got some therapist or some spiritual entity thinking, oh, he's in a coma, if we just make him really believe it, he'll just say it was all a dream. That's a strong possibility too. And for that reason, what I'm going to do, I'm going to set in place a way to say, fuck you, therapist, fuck you, spiritual fucking disease, for wanting to put a fucking psychotic storyline into my head as a means to appease reality that if and when the time ever comes be it in a week, a year, a month, whatever, that I realise I'm not in a coma. This world is real. I'm not sure how that can happen, but if it does, if and when it does, I'll have something in place to really be able to turn around and just say, therapist, what the fuck were you thinking, spiritual entity, for putting this fucking embarrassing storyline into my head? Because I can't live with this. I can't live with that embarrassment level. I can't live with living a lie when I have to give everything to truth. So fuck you. And I'll have to put a action plan into place for when that happens to safeguard myself entering this state. And really put it to them, are you sure you want this of me? But that's just me being Andreas and practical, because I really do believe I'm in a coma first. Yeah. Thank you for being within me.